practical crap done for the day. Of my Tuesday morning's done. I'm a free man again, and hopefully I'll soon be having a Guinness, because I've got a friend that's come up from Melbourne, and they're quite happy to have a drink at lunchtime. Just got to do a little bit of supermarket shopping and get that all done. So it's a really nice day. They've been lucky with the weather, because we've had a lot of wet weather, but as you can see, it's beautiful today. Absolutely stunning weather. So hopefully they're waiting at the bus stop. They haven't been to Cairns before, so I'm hoping that they know how to find their way around. This is Lake Street, Cairns. It's a pretty major arterial road that goes right into the centre of Cairns, and hopefully he's found his way back here. Back at PJ O'Brien's. It's lunchtime and it's pretty quiet here actually, but just had myself a pint of Guinness. That's what's left of it. Jeff is over there in the at the bar ordering another Guinness using my card, and I think the normal price is $23 for 2 Guinnesses, but with the card it's $18.40, so yeah, a bit cheaper. Apparently at his local pub, the Clifton Hotel, they have $10 pints of Guinness during happy hours, so that's not a bad deal actually. So anyway, it's just marginally cheaper than that, but it's not a bad deal, so not complaining. The best deal is definitely the Beach House with the $5.50 schooners. Very good. But I decided to use the Sony camera on a stand out the back of the house, because it's fairly inclement weather today. It's a top of 23 degrees, so it's not particularly warm by our standards, and there's no way I can be walking down the street. I did actually put in a big order for liquor, which is one of the reasons I would go down the street, but it won't be delivered for 2 weeks. It's through First Choice. And if you're happy to order bulk liquor, it really does save you money when they've got specials, because there's a 25% discount on. I've got 3 bottles of gin and 2 bottles of rum. What's it called? Sailor Jerry rum. It's about $46 a bottle, but it's quite nice, and I want to just try a different spirit. And I've got a friend staying over here for 10 days. He'll be leaving this week, and he bought a bottle of this stuff, and it's quite nice actually. So I mix it with ginger ale and on the rocks, and it's quite a nice drop. But I actually put in a big order today, over $200, which was the 3 bottles of gin. They've actually got the beef feta gin back. That's back in stock, so that's brilliant. And 2 of those Sailor Jerry rums, and it comes to over $200. And what it gives me is free delivery plus a 25% discount. So they've got some good deals occasionally at First Choice. So I thought I'd go for it. I was hoping to get a $2 express delivery, which would be within 90 minutes, but it doesn't apply up here in Queensland, not in Cairns anyway. So we're considered country by their standards. So it's always one of those drawbacks, but I don't care. If I have to wait a couple of weeks, it's fine. But I always like getting a discount. So that's a good start to the day. It is a bit of a readjustment for me having someone staying here. I've been here by myself since I've bought the house, and it's been rough and smooth as you'd expect. So I don't know if I want to do it again, to be honest with you. I think I'm set in my ways at my age. It's nice to have your own place and your own space, but we'll see. He's actually down in Cairns at the moment. He's took a bus down there to do some stuff at office work. So he he sort of likes the vibe down there. I'm over it because I actually live down in Parramatta Park, so I don't really care. I love the lifestyle here. If I'm doing a review of living in suburbia as opposed to Parramatta Park, now it's been over 2 years, almost exactly over 2 years, and the best move I've ever made, in my opinion. The lifestyle here is fantastic. It's especially nice in the cooler weather because you can get out and about, got a bit of energy and what have you. But because I've got good neighbours here who discovered me via this particular YouTube channel, which has been absolutely fabulous for me. Never thought it'd be a social conduit, but it actually is. Oh, and I was a bit embarrassed actually. We walked over to the beach house for the Friday happy hour, and a girl came up to me, and I couldn't really see her very well because I've got really crappy eyesight, so it's a bit of a pain. But I do apologise to her because she actually she'd come up to me in probably a month or two prior to that, about a block away from there, and sort of introduced herself. And I'm happy to have a chat with someone. She could have sat down and had a chat if you wanted, and I wouldn't have been a problem for me. But I was just a bit taken aback because I couldn't recognise her. So I apologise about that. I'm more than happy to speak to anybody who watches the channel. So I feel a bit bad about that. So if you are watching this channel, apologies. I've really got bad eyesight. So. But anyway, we had had another session down at the beach house, and it's a fantastic happy hour, and it's all part of that great lifestyle. I don't know if there's many places in the world where you could get such cheap drinks, $5.50 schooners of Great Northern, for instance, and also you can get wine as well, happy hour wine, which is sort of half the quantity of the normal ones, and you're sitting by the sea. It's amazing. Trinity Beach is quite a nice place to have a drink, and I think it's magic. It's just a great lifestyle here. Yesterday I was at the sports club, and we had the $13 pizzas, and it's great. It's and I'm getting into a bit of gardening. You probably can't see my pots behind me the way I've framed this, but there's a couple of dozen pots that I'm putting seeds into and trying to grow stuff. I'm trying to grow some greens, some beans or peas, and it can be quite problematic in the far north Queensland because it's just too warm for them. So this 23-degree day will be very good for them. The ones that I've planted along the side of the fence that you can't see just behind the camera, they're almost to the height of the trellis that is being put there. And hopefully they'll take off and grow higher. I think maybe they died in the past because I actually I didn't have an adequate trellis to climb onto, and consequently they might have wilted and got mould or whatever because they didn't have the airflow around them, which I guess keeps the humidity down and prevents them from getting some sort of a mould. That might be what's happening. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. But at least I'm having a go at it. I've done a lot of planting. I've still got plenty of potting mix. I've done the front of the house. That's all been fixed up with a new garden with all the oh, there you go. There's a bit of the bird life you can hear in the background. Some of the I've got tan bark in the front of the house, and it looks a lot neater and nicer than what it did. Really got to do the kitchen. I'm thinking of getting a flat pack kitchen, like a caboodle thing from Bunnings, and getting that done in the next few months because it's something I've always wanted to do here. I hate the cabinetry in the kitchen. It really needs an upgrade. So also the electric stove died on me a few months back, and so I've been on life support with the cooking stuff. I've got enough. The microwave convection oven I got through Kmart is brilliant. It's really filled the gap, and I've got a couple of hot range tops as well. That bird just went over the veranda there. Okay, anyway, yeah, plenty of bird life here. It's part of the nice lifestyle. Yesterday, actually, I think it was yesterday It was, yeah. Saw a wallaby. My temporary housemate, he spotted it, and it was close enough by long enough so I could actually take some footage of it. So I might insert that into this particular video. So that was the first time I've actually seen one of the wallabies here, because I know it. Steve and Yvonne have seen them, and Jeff, my flatmate, has also seen them before yesterday. But I was there with him when I spotted them. So I was just going down the footpath, the wallaby, and heading towards a park. So that was pretty interesting. So it's that sort of a place. There's a lot of wildlife around here, and it's a very pleasant place to be. The plovers are out the front, and they're breeding. They get a bit narky if you get too close to their chicks, and so that's about the only downside. But apart from that, it's yeah, I love the lifestyle here. Transport for me is an issue, but it's a minor one compared to be able to live here. The other thing that I've done too is actually finally taken a dip in the ocean. I did that a few days ago, and it was really warm. It was beautiful. So I'll have to do that again. It was easier when I had my temporary flatmate here, because he could look after my gear while I went in, and vice versa. So, but when you're out by yourself, of course, if you're bringing anything along, it could get nicked. It's not likely. It's a fairly quiet beach. You're probably pretty safe. It'd be nice if they had lockers down there. That would be one thing I'd like to see them add to the mix. And then I'd swim more regularly. There is a sign warning about crocs, and even telling people that they shouldn't pitch a tent too close to the beach. So, but that's just sort of legalistic stuff covering their arse, I think. And it's not an issue in winter anyway, I wouldn't have thought. And I've never heard of a croc being attacked down here in the northern beaches, but maybe it has happened, but I haven't heard about it. Anyway, I went in there, and it was, like I said, the water was beautiful, really nice. So finally got that out of the way, and hopefully I can reprise that. So that's all good. You know, and slowly but surely getting stuff done to the house. I've just been concentrating on the garden during the cooler months. And next week, when I'm here by myself again, I'll probably get Dale around to do some maintenance work, and just keep moving along. There's always more things to do with a house than if you have a flat. A flat is much more low maintenance, but I find it quite gratifying having a big property. It gives you, a bit of scope to do a few things, and quite enjoy that. There's a few chores you've got to do, like mowing, which is a bit of a hassle, but I have at least cut that back a bit by reducing the amount of grass in the property. So, and that's just the first stage. I'm doing more and more. And of course, unfortunately, we've still got the international situation with Ukraine, and the major problem at the moment is that that 6-reactor complex, Zaporizhzhia, pardon the pronunciation, that particular nuclear power plant, apparently Russians have mined at least 4 of those units, and it may blow it up, which is an act of terrorism which will make the Chernobyl look like a picnic. Now the rain's coming down heavier now, just picked up again, but I'm pretty okay here under the veranda. Got very wide verandas at this place. Half the property is actually has big verandas, so it's very practical for avoiding sun and rain. So yeah, situation in Ukraine that's one of the worst things at the moment, that could occur. We know that Russian elements are not averse to a bit of sabotage, because they did that with the dam. They broke the dam and caused the hydro to be out of commission and flooded quite a large area of productive farmland. So the possibility of them doing something like that is high, but I think the repercussions globally would be so bad. But Russia's a bit of a basket case at the moment. The leadership is sort of fairly wobbly, and it's a very dangerous situation. The Ukrainians aren't making the progress with their offence that maybe people would have expected. It's a bit slower than what people expected, but they don't have any air supremacy, and they need those F-16s to provide that. So they haven't got all the armaments required for a modern army at this stage, and they're at a disadvantage against the Russians, who do have a much bigger air force. So hopefully that'll be redressed by the end of the year. But by the time they get there, the F-16s will be winter, so it's not so great. The other thing, of course, it's tax time. I've got to go and have another go at filling out the tax return. That's something I don't look forward to, mainly because I can't do it myself the way they've set it up. I'll probably have to go to a tax agent because I've got capital gains. I haven't got any net capital gains. I'm not actually, because I had a huge capital loss this year, so that won't be adding to my taxable income, but I've still got to put the figures in. And if it's anything above 10,000 in transactions, you can't do it yourself. You have to fill out some schedule, which I've never been able to work out how to fill out. So it's a bit of a hassle, and hopefully I'll be able to getting a bit of a return this year. My dividends are fully franked, so that should cover all that anyway. I shouldn't actually ever have to pay tax, but in the past I had a tax-free pension, and I was able to get all of that money back, which was really nice around tax time, but not when you get older. It gets tougher apparently, so that was an eye-opener for me. So yeah, that birds, I guess they like the wet weather or something, but they're certainly making their presence felt. Yeah, so most of the time we've had some pretty good weather up here, but we've had 2 days where it's been cooler, but this is the wettest day so far. So my temporary flatmate's been very lucky, and the good thing is he's out and about a bit, because it's really difficult to share a place with someone if you're under each other's feet all the time, and it's just it's difficult. So I've got my own ways of doing things, he's got his, and there's always clashes. So that always happens whenever you've got a sharing situation. It just depends on the personalities of the people. But yeah, I've had a few issues which I might outline later, but I'm looking forward to getting my place back in a few days. So that'll be something good. But it's also been good to have a change in circumstances, having things done differently. Like I wouldn't have bought that rum, for instance, which is a spicy rum, and it's got quite a nice flavour. I hadn't actually experienced that before, because I like my gin, but it's nice to mix and match a bit and just have a bit of variety. Especially if you're putting an order in for, say, mixes like tonic water or ginger beer with someone like Coles, you just never know what's going to actually show up. So many times I put a tonic water order in last week, didn't show up. It was one of the items they scrubbed. So yeah, it can be a little frustrating with those deliveries, although it's a fantastic service. And like I say, I can get grog delivered here to my door. Just got to wait a couple of weeks, and I'll get a 25% discount on it, and I don't have to pay for the delivery. I think it's brilliant. So yeah, living in suburbia does have a few positives there. So yeah, no, it's a very nice environment to live in. I feel pretty safe here. You don't have any hoons around. Just have kids on electric scooters is about the main hassle. I know Steve can't stand it, but there's only a few kids that do it, but it doesn't worry me that much. But yeah, generally pretty quiet here, pretty quiet and conducive for a relaxing lifestyle, so I'm all for that. So I hope everyone's okay that watches the channel. I hope people down south aren't freezing their asses off too much. They're probably quite envious when I say 23 top, but I am still short sleeves. I've only worn my wind cheater once this winter, so yeah, it's a pretty benign environment. So look, I hope everybody has a good day, and please consider subscribing to the channel and giving us a thumbs up if you feel that way inclined. I appreciate all the support I can get. That would be lovely. See you later.